Hi, I'm Wayne Allen Root for Personal Liberty. First, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas during these tough and troubled times. Enjoy your family, kiss your children, enjoy the holiday, enjoy the food, and thank God we've all been blessed to be born in the greatest country in the history of the world. But we want to keep it that way. And unfortunately, a slim majority of Americans have forgotten what made us great, or they're taking those blessings for granted. Even at Christmas time, perhaps because it's Christmas time, because it's a time for prayer and reflection, I think it's important to remind you what America could become in the next 4 years. The collision course towards disaster that we are currently on. That path is so clear, there's no longer a need for debate. The proof is in, and the proof is Detroit. Detroit is dysfunctional, insolvent, and teetering on the verge of bankruptcy. There are 3 valuable lessons to be found in Detroit's demise. Lesson number 1. Obama claimed he saved Detroit and the auto industry. He was reelected based on this claim. You've been scammed. Obama was lying. He didn't save anything. He just dumped billions of our taxpayer dollars down a rat hole to buy Democratic votes. Detroit was never going to be saved. Obama just stalled the inevitable until after the election. Lesson number 2. Mitt Romney was criticized harshly for saying Obama bought the election with bribes. Did you see the Democratic councilwoman from Detroit saying that the voters of Detroit voted overwhelmingly for Obama, so now he owes them a bailout? Sounds like Romney was actually on the right track. Lesson number 3. Detroit's demise is America's future under Obama. Look at these facts. Detroit's a one-party town. It's been run by liberal progressive Democrats lock, stock, and barrel for decades. Politicians who ruled with the exact same agenda and policies as Barack Obama. There is no opposition party. There are no checks and balances. Republican sightings in Detroit are as rare as an extinct dinosaur. So Detroit is the perfect test case for proving what happens when you allow Democrats, like Obama, to run things their way. Let's look at the results. Detroit is $2.5 billion in debt, similar on a local level to Obama's $16 trillion in federal government debt. Detroit has $11 billion in government employee retirement obligations. $11 billion in one city. One abandoned city. Obama's America, for exactly the same reasons, has several trillion in unfunded liabilities for government employees. None of these absurd pensions can ever be paid, folks. Detroit has to go bankrupt, and these union contracts will have to be voided in bankruptcy court. There's no way to ever pay them. America has to start thinking about how to do the exact same thing on the federal level. Detroit's unemployment rate is sky high, just like Obama's America. Actually, unemployment's twice as high in Detroit as the metropolitan area around Detroit. Why? Because many of the towns around Detroit are Republican suburbs run with discipline, fiscal responsibility, lower taxes, lower spending, and not as many people on entitlements and welfare. Unemployment and bankruptcy aren't the only results of Obama's progressive liberal policies, however. Detroit is the most violent, crime-ridden big city in America. With strict gun control, by the way. Gun control is a failure. The only thing it controls is good people who are prevented from getting guns to defend themselves. Criminals and murderers run free in gun-free zones. That school in Newtown, Connecticut was a gun-free zone. Did that designation save those poor kids? But I digress. The list of Detroit's damage and dysfunction continues. Detroit has America's most disgraceful public schools, and 2/3 of Detroit's street lamps are broken. Have you ever heard of a figure like that? 2/3. But why fix them? No one lives there anymore. During the past decade, 1/4 of the population has escaped, leaving literally a vacant town. The Wall Street Journal recently reported that Detroit's abandoned lots combined are bigger than the entire city of Paris, France. Detroit is a third world. Detroit's historic Woodmere Cemetery has been robbed repeatedly, with mausoleum doors being stolen for scrap metal. Folks, this is what Armageddon looks like. Detroit's the test case for what America will look like under Obama if he gets his way. There's no debate. Detroit's Democrats got their way, and these are the results. Detroit's policies are Obama's dream come true. What is there to debate? Obama and Detroit both love big government, big taxes, big spending, powerful unions, out-of-control entitlements, big debt, too many government employees, early retirement for those government employees, obscene pensions, public schools run by all-powerful teachers' unions, and free health care provided by government for government employees and poor people, which is pretty much the entire population of Detroit that's left. Want to bet Detroit leads the nation in percentage of population on food stamps? I'll bet you. And if it doesn't, it's only because Obama's Chicago is in first place. What's at the center of this tragic American nightmare? Well, Lots of things, but number one on the list is unions. You know, the ones that are Obama's staunchest supporters and contributors. The same ones that now own him and most progressive liberal politicians. The Wall Street Journal points out Detroit will spend $160 million this year and $135 million next year on just the retirement benefits of government union employees. That's after factoring in the mayor's labor reforms. Unions bankrupted Detroit. Government employees in Detroit have defined benefit pension plans that let them retire in their 40s and then get paid a fortune for the next 40 or 50 years, twice as long as they ever worked. This exact insanity is bankrupting cities, counties, states, and even our federal government from sea to shining sea. Keep in mind, there are over 22 million government employees in America. Yes, I said 22 million, and every one of them is aiming to retire with big pensions in their 40s and live 40 more years of leisure built around golf and cruises and early bird dinners, and of course, voting Democrat on Election Day. That's their real tradition. This is Obama's America, with everyone working for government or unions or living on entitlements and handouts provided by government. This is what happens when an economy is run based on the big Obama three: fairness, equality, and social justice. This is what happens when the politicians and the bureaucrats of government get together with the unions, the entitlement addicts, and the class action lawyers to rig the system so that the rich and the business owners are the targets, the suckers, to pay for it all. And the final result, just like Greece. The rich and the business owners leave as fast as they can. They run for their lives to protect themselves and their families. I'm not making this stuff up, folks. Detroit has in fact been abandoned. Everyone with money and smarts left, and they escaped to states with lower taxes and smaller government like my home state of Nevada. Soon, just like Detroit, with Obama in charge, people like that, the ones who pay the taxes, are going to be leaving America. Detroit is the Obama blueprint. This is how you run a country with no Republican opposition in the way. Detroit is our future laid out before our eyes. Detroit is our canary in the coal mine. By re-electing Obama, a majority of Americans, after decades of being dumbed down and indoctrinated by members of the teachers union in public schools, voted for Detroit. Be scared. Be very scared. This is the future we've got to stop before we all live in a third world country like Detroit. I'm Wayne Allen Root. This Christmas, think about what America used to be about and should be about and must be about in the future if we're going to survive. God, faith, family, capitalism, small business, economic freedom, free speech, patriotism, and American exceptionalism. Let's reflect on those values this Christmas. Kiss your kids for me. Tell them how blessed they are to be Americans. Let's stand up and defend the real America, not Obama's America. I'm Wayne Allen Root for Personal Liberty. Merry Christmas, and God bless America.